Hi there. Andrew Cresty here with AudioBro. We're very excited to introduce you to our new look-ahead feature in modern scoring strings. A feature that will save you from a lot of tedious MIDI note nudging. Simply 100% quantize your MIDI, no matter what articulation, and it will play back in time. No more endless manipulation of MIDI to get your articulations to sit right. And this applies to the main library as well as the expanded legato library. This new feature took a tremendous amount of work to implement, simply because of the sheer number of articulations included in modern scoring strings. But now you can benefit from all our hard work. Let's see how. In this video, I'll walk you through the benefits of look ahead, play some before and after examples, and show you how to set up your MIDI tracks to best use look ahead. First, let's start off with an obvious example of look ahead using the shorts. We all know how hard it can be to get the short articulations to play in time, and when we trigger a different short articulation, for example martelé, we have to adjust the MIDI accordingly. But not anymore. So here's an example of a 100% quantized MIDI with look ahead turned off. Pretty out of time and late, right? Now, this isn't because of bad sample editing or anything like that. It's because of the combination of the way string attacks build depending on their articulation and whether or not auto DVC is on or off. Now, here we will turn on look ahead and turn on the negative delay from the MIDI track. Now, let's listen back again. Much better, right? Everything was much more tight and played back in time with a click. Now, this principle applies to all articulations. I could play legato, glissando, ostinatos, octave runs, pizzicato, it doesn't matter. All the articulations are compensated for with look ahead. Let's listen to another example before I go into detail about exactly what is happening. Here I'll play a simple melodic phrase with legato, portamento, and glissando, with look ahead turned off. Let's listen. Notice how it was out of time, always a little late. Now let's play the same thing with look ahead on. Notice how the legato, portamento, and glissando articulations were all being appropriately anticipated by our engine. Now they played back more in time. What is so great about this is you no longer have to mind-numbingly tweak all the legato passages so that they play in time. In fact, you can now freely experiment with exchanging legato for glissando or portamento, or vice versa, and our engine will automatically adjust. For example, let's change the legato with CC9 and hear it back. You see, it pretty much played back in time. Now, for that example, I replaced a bunch of the legatos with portamentos and glissandos to really illustrate my point. It may have sounded a little bit too glissando-y or portamento-y, but I think you get the picture. So now you can freely test out different articulations without the fear of having to re-nudge all your MIDI notes so they can play back in time. Okay, so now let's get into how we do this in our DAW. It's really very simple. Quantize your MIDI and 1. Turn on look ahead based on the look ahead readout here. 2. Set up a negative delay on your MIDI track. That's pretty much it. Now, I have look ahead set to CC108, but you can set it to whatever CC you want as long as it doesn't conflict with our internal CCs. Check out our manual for this information. But for ease of use, we highly recommend that you assign a CC to look ahead to turn it on or off with ease. Now, the beautiful thing is, our look ahead doesn't delay your playback when the transport of your DAW is stopped. So, when the transport is off, you can play without any additional latency. But if you are about to record a MIDI part, then turn off the look ahead via CC and record your part. Then quantize everything and turn on look ahead again. Of course, you don't have to 100% quantize, but we're doing so here for the sake of demonstration. Regarding the track delay, once it's set up, you don't really have to turn it on or off, since there's no such thing as a negative delay when playing live or in real time, only on playback. Now, to have the best user experience, there are a couple of things you should keep in mind. 1. Start playback early enough from the downbeat so there is no oddly timed playback at the beginning of your part. So, in these examples, 440 milliseconds earlier than the downbeat. But a good general rule of thumb is to start the playback about a measure earlier. That should safely give your DAW enough time to catch up with the MIDI. 2. Make sure you don't turn on or off look ahead during MIDI recording. Typically, you want to turn look ahead on or off before or after recording MIDI. With regards to negative delay, pretty much all the major DAWs out there have a way to add negative delay track delay to a MIDI track. So that shouldn't be an issue. For Cubase Logic and Digital Performer, you can do it right here. For other DAWs, you'll want to consult the manual that came with it. Okay, that should give you a closer look at our look ahead feature. We did spend a lot of time developing this, but we hope that in doing so, it will save you a lot of time in your mockups. Don't be afraid to fully quantize your MIDI or percent quantize it, and also mess around a little bit with the offsets to see how you like it to sit in your mix. I hope you found this video informative, and we'll see you at the next one. Take care.